All right, well, let's get on to the big three games that I want to talk about. And we're actually going to start with, I want to start with the Dallas Cowboys. And I want to start with Ezekiel Elliott, 20 carries, 143 yards, 1 touchdown as the Cowboys beat the Carolina Panthers 36-28. The big thing for me, the big storyline was Ezekiel Elliott, this Dallas Cowboys defense. This defense truly has been turned around by 2 players, one of them being a rookie, Micah Parsons, and the other a second-year player in Trayvon Diggs. Diggs had 2 interceptions in this game. He's got 5 on the season, 1 in each game of the season. And Elliot Chris, our man from FTN Fantasy, placed a bet for Trayvon Diggs to be Defensive Player of the Year, and the odds on that were plus 65,000. 65-1 odds was what Trayvon Diggs opened up at. There's only been 2 quarterbacks. I don't know, but there's only been 2 quarterbacks since 1994. There's only been 2 quarterbacks cornerbacks from 1994 to today who have won that award. It was Deion Sanders and Stephon Gilmore. Those are the only 2. Charles Woodson, and Stephon Gilmore are the only 2 corners who have won that award since 94. Listen, he's well on his way. I mean, it was 65-1, and knowing EC probably put a unit or 2 on that. And right now, Trayvon Diggs is looking like an NFL Defensive Player of the Year candidate. 5 interceptions this season in 4 games is incredible. Micah Parsons had a sack and terrorized that defense, that offensive line all day, made Sam Darnold's life a living hell. Zeke Elliott is dead. That's what they told me. He is not. Zeke Elliott is running probably the best that he's run since early in his career. He looks like a new man. Tony Pollard still did his thing with 67 yards. If I told you, Jay, that 4 Dallas pass catchers were going to have touchdown catches in the game and one of them not be CeeDee Lamb, would you believe that?
Absolutely not. There's no way.
Yeah. Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin, Cedric Wilson, and Amari Cooper all caught touchdown passes. CeeDee Lamb was on a milk carton. He went 2 for 13. That was it. 2 for 13 for CeeDee Lamb. Completely took him out of the game and said everybody else beat you. And that's exactly what Dak Prescott did. He's efficient. He only threw the ball 22 times, only 188 yards, but 4 touchdowns. And he should be firmly on the MVP radar right now as the Cowboys. They look like a top 3 team in the NFC right now. They are playing fantastic football on both sides of the ball. Dalton Schultz has been a very pleasant surprise for most of the country. I think PPR, he's got to be a top 5 tight end right now in PPR formats. He is balling in the NFL. He is, a top option for Dak Prescott. And at this point, Dalton Schultz is a must start in fantasy football leagues. I don't care if it's seasonal leagues or dynasty. If you have Dalton Schultz, you have to start him each and every week. You've got to start Pollard and Zeke. You've got to start CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Cedric Wilson looked good. This Dallas offense, this Dallas team is playing some good football, man. Are you impressed with the Dallas Cowboys?
Yes, absolutely. And this game was not as close as the score indicated. No. The Carolina Panthers scored a touchdown late. DJ Moore obviously had a spectacular game. But it's all about the running game now. And we talked about it last week, talking about the yards before contact, Zeke turning back the clock, having his longest run since his rookie season.
Yeah. We talked about this.
We were disparaging Zeke for not being able to run more than 40 yards. We talked about how he only ran the 40-yard dash and then just quits after that. But I think he almost hit 50. I think it was a 48 or 49-yard run on that really long play, and that's what really helped his day. But overall, he just looks spectacular. The offensive line dominated. This is the number 1 rushing defense coming into the game, and we thought that the Cowboys would be able to exploit it and their offensive line would win, and that's exactly what happened. That yards before contact showed on every single play, whether it was Pollard, whether it was Zeke. Looked spectacular, but like you said, it's the defense. From week 1, we've been talking about how great the defense looked, improved. We can maybe throw some credit to Dan Quinn, although I'm not really going to give him too much credit because he
give him credit.
Defense. But again, he's still manning that defense, and that matters, right? That's not all for nothing, and they are looking spectacular. They are probably a top 5 defense in the NFL right now, and I'm curious your thoughts. Do you think Dallas is a top? Would you say they're the best looking team in the NFL right now, especially in the NFC?
No, I just said it. I think they're a top 3 team. I still think Tampa Bay is there. You've got to put the Arizona Cardinals in that category.
Really?
Arizona's playing damn good football, man, on both sides of the ball. What they did to the Rams, you talk about this game wasn't really close. I don't think the Rams versus Arizona was really close either. Kyler Murray is playing on another planet. A.J. Green has turned back the hands of time. They've got a dynamic two-headed monster in James Conner and Chase Edmonds. And then when you have bookends such as Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt, Budda Baker, Byron Murphy in the secondary, Isaiah Simmons is the chess piece, You've got to put Arizona as one of the top teams in the NFL right now, and they're undefeated. I've got Dallas right in that 3-4 range. I'm trying to be realistic today. I'm not being outlandish. I was very impressed with what Dallas did versus Sam Darnold because they are a hot team, and we did see DJ Moore go off in this one. 8 for 12, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. I still think there are some things that Dallas needs to clean up in the secondary, but DJ Moore was fantastic. Sam Darnold didn't have a bad game. 26 for 39, 301, 2 touchdowns, 6 carries, 35 yards, 2 more touchdowns. I think he's one of the league leaders in rushing touchdowns on this season. DJ Moore, all the talk about DJ Moore was he couldn't score touchdowns. He's turned into a touchdown machine, and we all knew that once DJ Moore started to get in the end zone, top 5 receiver in the NFL was well within his range of outcomes, and he is starting to fulfill that prophecy here in his 4th season, I believe. This is DJ Moore's 4th season.
Yep.
Robbie Anderson, 5 receptions on 11 targets. They tried to get him going as well, 46 yards. I think this is good momentum, positive steps forward for Robbie Anderson. Chuba Hubbard at about 50 yards on the ground in relief of Christian McCaffrey, who reports came out to say he's going to miss another couple of weeks. So CMC should be on the fence or on the mend soon for Carolina. But I think what Carolina's doing is they're building a good team. I think Carolina's going to be a formidable team for the years to come. I think Matt Rule going 8 straight defenders in the NFL draft a year ago was a smart move. Jeremy Chin looks like an absolute monster. C.J. Henderson along with J.C. Horn once he gets back. Deontay Jackson. This is a very good Carolina team. And even though the Panthers were missing their best offensive weapon, I still think they played well. But it did show that Dallas is just a little bit better than what Carolina has to offer, and I can definitely see Carolina pushing for a wild card spot. But right now, if I had to look at the NFC, and without everything in front of me right now, I think it's still Tampa Bay. I'd say Arizona. I'd put Dallas and the Rams right in that same kind of range. I think that would be a really good matchup. But right now, the Dallas Cowboys have it going, and you called it. They're running the ball. They turn back the hands of time. They're running the football. Ezekiel Elliott is playing well. And Dak Prescott is not locking in on CeeDee Lamb. He's hitting whoever's open, whether that be Cedric Wilson, Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin. This is a good football team. They are playing damn good football, and I thought this was a really, really good showing for Dallas. They needed this win, and I think this is just going to set up, and the momentum is going to continue to push forward for the Dallas Cowboys, taking down some of these top teams in the NFL who have been very, very looked like really good teams so far in the season. So very impressed with the Dallas Cowboys.